The meat. Get additional savings this week when we pay your sales tax on any Mermaid mattress.
Okay, I know that all of you out there with children are holding on to the last days of summer, and well, you should. But before you know it, those school bells are going to ring, and everyone's going to be heading back happily to the classroom with a little bit of angst. And don't make any mistakes, the teachers might be a little bit worried about a new year too. So we're talking to the teachers this morning. Amy Hicks is on the show with her daughter Mary Elizabeth, and we're going to take a journey back in time a little bit because I first met you when, was Mary Elizabeth even a thing?
No, way even before. It was you and Jed. It's been so far. It's so far back.
So it's a great conversation too, because if you're watching today and you're a teacher, listen up. If you're watching today and you're going through kind of a pitfall in life and you're wondering where it's going to take you, Amy's story I think is a great one because you're an example of what it is to have an idea and run with it. Let me see if I can set you up fast. 2011, the tornado came through, totally destroyed your house and those of many people who you know and love. You already were an educator, a big believer in pet therapy. You took your dogs and you began to hit the ground running to help people heal from the emotional scarring with an organization called Helping Paws, Healing Hearts. Do I have that right?
You've got it.
Okay, so now I'm going to dovetail into the teacher side of it because you've been subbing for the last 4 years. And teachers are having their own crisis. So now you're helping again.
Absolutely. So first of all, thanks for having us. It's so exciting to have Mary Elizabeth here and be a part of that. And our journey's it's been amazing and doors have continued to open. The pet therapy is still a part of it. We now have Zeus and Apollo, the original guys that were with you, passed away. They lived 14 amazing years, helped thousands and thousands of kids throughout the community and the state. But now we're fast forward into teachers, and you know, education has changed, life has changed. After COVID, the classroom, as we all know, is so different, and teachers have so much on their plate. And I'm just kind of out there with a been there, done that, been in the trenches. I'm one of you, and I want to help them manage and finagle this new world of teaching in their classroom, and how can they best help their kiddos.
So this new push that you're about to launch is going to be called Healing Hearts, Mending Minds, right?
Absolutely.
And Mary Elizabeth is your right hand in this whole thing as in all parts of your life because she's actually designing your website. Is that right, Mary Elizabeth?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're in the what grade?
I'm going into 5th.
Going into 5th grade. So do you think that any of this idea of your mom's to help teachers, did any of it kind of come about, do you think, from conversations y'all would have at home? Because I'm sure you come home and talk about your school day.
Probably from a little bit of it, but most of the experience I've had at my school has been very good, but I've had some days where it's just been, I never want to go back. But that's also been from the girl drama and the grade I got on my math test and how everybody was questioning how I got that answer wrong, and that was probably from the most part. But my mom just wants to help because that's who she is.
That is who she is. That should be the slogan at the bottom of it. That is who you are. But you are now incorporating two worlds because you have been in the classroom, you still are, but you're also a mom. So you know that the moms and dads out there want their children to find success in the classroom, and if the teachers aren't finding the way to unlock those doors, nobody's going to be happy.
Absolutely, and that's where, going back, you're right. It did change when I became a mom. I was an amazingly passionate educator prior to Mary Elizabeth, but as we all know, when you do become a parent, that paradigm shifts. And so now I think of it through the eyes of her. And what she said was nothing bad against her school, but those are the things I want to help teachers with. Teachers are having to deal with that in the classroom. They are dealing with the drama. They are dealing with the stress and the anxiety of the kids. And so that's where I want to be able to help them, to help the kids very quickly or to have someone like me to come in and help, or have a training after school so they can focus on teaching.
I only have a couple of minutes left, and I'm sorry we had to get the setup. You'll have to come back. But is the idea that you're kind of the objective eye to come in and observe the classroom, and then you can say, here's what I'm noticing, and collaborate with the teacher?
Absolutely, totally. I'm not going to come in and try to change who they are, but I want to come there, meet their needs, meet them where they are, let them say, Amy, here's what we need, here's our big problem, and work all year long. This is not a one-time fix.
You are launching it, so right now we're going to still send you to the website for the pet therapy, but as Mary Elizabeth perfects it, the new one will launch. Do you want the administration to reach out to you, or can an individual teacher reach out to you?
I would love teachers, administrators, foundations, school boards. Reach out and meet with me and let me know, how can I help you, and let's find out how to. There is a charge. You know, that's all flexible. I'm not going to try to rob you or whatever, but there will be a charge for the service, but we can work through that and what your need is.
And she glossed it over just a little bit, but if you really, I'm going to give you her email address because that's an easy way. It's amy@ua12.com, or there's a phone number there too. But if you will look up Helping Paws, Healing Hearts, you'll see all types of information. She took this tragedy in her own life. She went in and she helped other people with the pet therapy. She can do the same thing now in the classroom. So you can just see her past to know her future. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Well, summer is in full swing, which has a lot of people thinking about projects around the house.